Age concerns all. Youth and age can blend together through school events in study and leisure. At Whitehill School, in a colourful setting, one-to-one talks with boy or girl questioning, what did we do to make ends meet? When times were hard, we queued for meat. In 6 years of war, we learned new ways. Vegetables from the garden gave value to the spade. To make do and mend was a possibility. To patch and darn became a necessity. Limited clothing coupons was a normality. Knitting by hand clad the family warmly. The end of the war brought peace at a price. May we never forget the human sacrifice. As a soldier and now a civilian, I am one of you. May the young and the old share a hope that is true. The stair carpet I knitted by hand after the war reminds me of a long journey to open the door for the young ones in our family and friends who trusted us, and now we trust them.
Where do you live?
I live in Croydon, Edward Ackroyd's model village. I've lived there for 61 years. Happily, I might say. It was a dirty old shell when I came there, but it's a home now and I love it.
Did your granny or mum teach you any crafts?
My mum taught me how to make a half a stone of bread. It was in a big bowl like that, and you put your flour in and then some lard, and then you mixed it together, and then you put water in, and then you kneaded it. Brought it all together and kneaded it, and then you bring it out. Have you seen anybody do this? And then bring it out and then do it, make it some more, make it fit, and then they roll it, and if you want cakes to put in the oven, you do little round ones and then flatten them a bit, and they were beautiful. You could smell them in the oven, and it made you want one before they were baked even, and they were beautiful with lots of butter on, if you have butter, and jam was nice as well. So that was a treat.
What was your school like, and did you do any crafts there?
I went to a school in South Yorkshire called Highgate. I made my own needlework apron and embroidered my name on it. I can remember that because I had it even when I moved to Halifax. Thank you for reminding me, because these things are special, and you probably keep some things that you will make for a long time, because it's nice to look back and see what you did. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Where did you work and what did you do?
I left school at 14 and then went to a commercial school in Doncaster to learn office work, just for 1 year. And then I started work at 15. I was a telephonist in Doncaster. I was trained first to office work, and then I worked as a telephonist, but I did lots of other jobs as well. I had my own little office at 15, this is. And I did the filing, postage, and it had a switchboard and you had to plug in with earphones on. And I loved that as well, because they let me do all of that, and I enjoyed doing it.
What did you do during the Second World War?
I was a soldier for 3 years in the second part of the war. I was a telephonist.
What did you knit in the war?
I knitted jumpers and cardigans and a stair carpet just after the war, because it was still difficult times. We didn't have television or anything like that, but I loved listening to the radio. And there was this, a lady giving out a pattern for a stair carpet. And I listened to it, and then suddenly I realised I hadn't written it down. So I had to remember it. So when I did come to do it, my stair carpet, it was a zigzag pattern, but my zigzag was different to theirs. But it wore for 10.5 years, and I'm so glad I made it, because it was the only way we could have one at that time. And you have to do your best when it's difficult times like that.
Did you make clothes for your children, and how?
I knitted and sewed I used to say I can dress 2 children for the price of 1, because we had 2 daughters and we hadn't a lot of money, and I used to think I couldn't go out to work. I had to be at home with no one to look after the children, and so I made jams, and I knitted dresses and made dressing gowns for them by hand, all woolies for 4 of us, even for my husband, myself and the children. Didn't buy anything except wool and patterns. And I have a pattern here of a hat somewhere. I haven't got it here, it's in the other room. I made hats and mittens to match for winter time, and they were nice and cosy. So things like that all helped to make the money go around as well, because we didn't have a lot of money. When you haven't much money, sometimes you have to think of ways to make it go further, and that's one way of doing it, is to find ways of making it cheaper to do it yourself. And it's a craft, it's a skill, and it helps you for later on. You never really forget when you learn something like that.
What do you like doing now?
I like to write poetry and short stories. I've been doing that for quite a long time. I used to hide it, but now I get it published. And people tell me they like to read it, so that pleases me.